Okay, this is the shell stitch tutorial. So I have casted on an even amount of stitches. Here I did 20. You can do any size of stitch as long as it is even. You'll want to go ahead and just do one increase. And then what you'll do is you'll do a single crochet into the first stitch. So you don't go into the one you just made, just single crochet into the one that was already like your 20th stitch. And then, okay, so that's your single crochet, the first stitch. Then what you'll want to do is skip 2 stitches. So I'm gonna skip, oops, sorry, I'm gonna skip 1, 2, and then this will be where I double crochet. So you'll want to go ahead and wrap the yarn around once to double crochet, and then go ahead and do that 5 times into that same stitch. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one. And the first row of the shell stitch is like just awkward because you don't really have like, if you had a lot of foundation or a lot of different rows down here, it would be much more rigid and feel a little bit more thick, right? So it wouldn't feel as kind of delicate. The first row is going to be feeling awkward, like it's looking stupid, it doesn't look right, but truly just stay with it and it'll be okay. So once you have the 5 double crochets in that single stitch, you're going to want to go ahead and skip 2 stitches and then single crochet into the next stitch. So we're gonna go skip 1, 2, and then just single crochet into here. You can go ahead and do that. So you can see that's our first little shell. Now what you'll do is continue in that pattern across. So I'll go ahead and do that. So you'll skip 1, 2, and then go double crochet into this third stitch. Okay. And this stitch is actually super fun because the pattern is really, really easy. After you kind of get this foundation stitch put together, then the rest of it is like incredibly fast. So 1, 2, 3. And you just always want to make sure you're going into the same stitch, otherwise you'll lose that shape. So that's 4, last one, 5. Okay, and then you'll go ahead and skip the 2. So I'm skipping this one, and be careful like when you're close to here because this stitch will kind of get lost. You can see you naturally want to say, oh, this is the next stitch, but really you have a stitch right here. So skip 1, 2, and then single crochet into this stitch. So now we have 2 seashells. So again, skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and then double crochet into the third. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then of course skip 1, 2, and single crochet into the third. You can get like really predominant shell stitches if you don't crochet that second loop, if you just pull it through. But it lays better if you go ahead and do the proper single crochet. So then on the last one, this is where it gets interesting. And this is, you'll have this on every single row. No matter how you've started, you'll always have to have a half shell. So what that means is that you're just gonna do 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to kind of loosen this first stitch because mine got really tight. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 double crochets into that. And you'll always start or end a row with a half shell. It's just kind of the way the pattern is, because it has that nice kind of like interlocking shell thing going on, so you can't ever have, sorry, this is awkward. Okay. So yeah, you can't ever just have like perfect shells row and row and row. Like you have to have a half shell in order for the shells to kind of interlock with each other. Okay. Ooh, that was tight. Okay. So 1, 2, and 3. And pardon my helpers making noise in the background. Okay, so that's like a half shell. So then we go ahead and we have our first row of shells. And again, the first row is always kind of wonky and it's like, that doesn't look like shells. This is hideous. What did I do? So I like to switch colors on the second row, so I'm going to go ahead and just grab something that will show the contrast difference for this. So I'll use, okay, so you'll just want to go ahead and do your 1 chain here at the start, because that's how you always want to start. And so then you'll just do into this, so we did these 3 half shells, right? So what we need to do is just do a single crochet into that first stitch when we turn, and this will be like the tight valley of the stitch. So go ahead and do that. Pull that tight. Sometimes I tie these 2 together. I'm not going to do that right now, but normally I would tie these 2 strings together just so that I don't have any weird tension at the end. So then you're going to go ahead and now where we're skipping the stitch, we're skipping 1, 2 stitches, and you can see now we're in this valley. So what we'll do in this valley, which is that single crochet that you did, now we're going to do the 5 double crochets in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we'll go ahead and we'll skip 2, so you can see we have our new shell started. So then we're going to skip 2, so 1, 2, and oh look, it's at the peak of this shell. So then you're going to go ahead and do that single crochet into that. Okay, and then go ahead and skip 1, 2, and oh, we're in the valley again. So you can see it's a really cool alternating pattern. Wherever you have the valley, you're always going to do the 5 double crochets. Wherever you have a peak, you're just going to do 1 single crochet. So that's how it's kind of interlocking itself. I'll go ahead and finish this row and then we can look at what it looks like. Okay, again, skip 2, I'm at the peak, so that's just a single crochet. And then, whoopsie. And then I'll go ahead and do the valley. Oops. You want to make sure you get in between both of those stitches. See how there's a stitch on top? You just want to get in between both. So that hole that's there is kind of where you want to be. And it truly doesn't matter like if you stitch into that single stitch in a specific way. Like if you, like the way I'm doing it, I'll just do that consistently the whole time. You could stitch into it a little bit differently if you'd want. You just need to be consistent. That's kind of the key to crochet. It doesn't matter for some things where you bring the stitch, you just need to be consistent and then it'll look good. Otherwise it'll be kind of like all mixed up. So what I'm kind of explaining is if you wanted to go into like this area, like this part of the stitch, you could do that. You just have to always do it. It's just easier to go into that hole. It's faster. And then a single crochet. And then again, we're at the end. And so at the end of here, we're going to go ahead and do 3 double crochets into the last stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just tie this off so that I can show it to you. Okay, so here is the shell stitch. So you can see that first row. Some things to keep in mind for the first row is really kind of be loose with this cast on. Give yourself a little bit more slack when you're doing the first foundation row. So when you're actually doing the loops, when you're chaining whatever amount of stitches you want to do, just give it slack. Otherwise it'll pucker and this edge will be tighter, so you'll kind of have like a little bit of an inconsistency. So this is what it looks like. In terms of what you can do with it, it's really great for blankets. It would be awesome for a scarf. If you wanted to get fancy, you could kind of do some increasing handkerchief type of thing, so it's like in a V shape. I'm not sure how it would be doing this in the round. It might be really hard, and on the back side where you have, so where this would meet on the back side, if this were in the round, you would have a clear kind of graduated, it wouldn't be a smooth unbreakable line, it would be as if a spiral was going up, which could look cool if you pull it off. I've never done it. I'm sure it would look nice though. But you'll have that, and you'll never have like an end half shell. If you did it in the round, you would always do complete shells. But so that is the shell stitch. Truly, as long as you cast on an even number, +1, you can do whatever you want, from a giant blanket to small baby blankets, scarves, that kind of thing. Yeah, so let me know if there's any feedback, and good luck.